This report changes the entire narrative around the Nuggets. Zach Lowe had Howard Beck as a guest on his podcast this week, and they determined that Cam Johnson was the number one most disappointing player in the NBA so far this season. Amy Sutherland here for Nuggets Digest. If you have not already hit the subscribe button, do it now. It's free, and I am loving making these videos, so I want to keep making them. Hit the subscribe button to support the channel, and we are dropping videos every single day that you won't want to miss out on. So Zach Lowe had Howard Beck onto his podcast this week, and they were discussing who might be the most disappointing player in the NBA so far, and they landed on Cam Johnson. They stated he was one of the most disappointing players so far and has really not met any expectations that the Denver Nuggets could have had for them. Let me say this. Cam Johnson was not expected to be Michael Porter Jr. Cam Johnson is a Denver Nugget because of the cap space that his salary created for the Denver Nuggets. Yes, of course, we want Cam Johnson to be amazing. We want him to get his averages and be the normal player that he was before. But most of that trade happened so that the Nuggets could get Jonas Valanciunas, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Bruce Brown. Cam Johnson has not played well, has not played up to what we know he can be as an NBA player, but Tim Hardaway Jr. has, Jonas Valanciunas has, Bruce Brown has played very well. They have more than made up the difference of what Cam Johnson has done this season that has been disappointing. I do want to show you, though, Cam Johnson's averages so far this season. He is only averaging 8 points, 2.7 rebounds, 2 assists, and then we'll go all the way down to his 3-point percentage, 23.5% so far this season. I will put a caveat here. We are only 9 games into the season. That's not a huge sample size. So these will definitely increase or decrease depending on what he does. They're going to increase. We know Cam Johnson. We know he's a professional. And I just want to reference last season as a net, he was averaging 18.8 points. That's 10 points, more than 10 points, more than he's averaging this season, 4.3 rebounds, 3.4 assists, and 39% from the three. These are his normal averages. This is what we know Cam Johnson can do. Nikola Jokić, Jamal Murray, and David Adelman have all three backed Cam Johnson up. They know the type of player that Cam Johnson can be, and they know what type of player they can expect him to be. On the Nets, Cam Johnson was the first or second option every single game. He was going to be the first option to score, or they were going to look for him second. He had the ball in his hands a lot of the games. It is so different to go from that, being the scorer, being the first option, to being the fourth or fifth option every single night. He does not touch the ball hardly ever as the fourth or fifth option. And to touch the ball more, he needs to be on fire. He needs to find his areas to create more space for his shot and score more. And as soon as he does, he might be the third or second option some nights. But right now, Nikola Jokić is first, Jamal Murray second, Aaron Gordon third, Tim Hardaway Jr. has been fourth. And that leaves Cam Johnson being not an if Christian Brown is in, Cam Johnson and him balancing for that fourth or fifth option. It is astoundingly hard to go from being the number one option, the star player, to being somebody that has to fill in a role. And Cam Johnson will figure it out. He did that on the Suns. He fit around stars at the Suns. He's just not accustomed to it right now. So although these 9 games have been disappointing, they have created a lot of space for other players to be successful. On that note, the Denver Nuggets, I found this statistic to be so interesting. These are the lineups that have the highest plus minuses in the league. The plus minus is the statistic all the way to the right. So a lineup with Donovan Mitchell on the Cavs, they are the highest with 22. The second highest lineup with a plus 18 is Nikola Jokić Jamal Murray, Cam Johnson, Christian Braun, and Peyton Watson. They are a plus 18. Okay, then going down, the next three are all tied. Another Donovan Mitchell lineup, an Anthony Davis lineup, and then this one, a second Denver Nuggets in the top three. There are two of the top three plus minuses: Jonas Valanciunas, Jamal Murray, Cam Johnson, Christian Braun, and Peyton Watson. Notice, little thing here, Cam Johnson is in both of those lineups, but that is why Cam Johnson came, so that Jonas Valanciunas could replace Nikola Jokić when they needed him to. Another few statistics that I found, the Nuggets right now are second. Let me show you. They are second in field goal percentage, just behind the Lakers. They are second in net rating. They are third in offensive rating. They are second in defensive rating, and their bench is second in points per game and second in net rating. And that is why Cam Johnson is a Denver Nugget. To allow those things to happen, the Nuggets needed a lot more people to be on the bench, to be players that Nikola Jokić and the rest of the starters could work around. So thank you, Cam Johnson, for being the most disappointing player in the league so far, for allowing the Denver Nuggets to have a 7-2 record. They have only lost 2 games in a very close fashion. And yeah, if Cam Johnson was averaging 10 more points per game, like his averages, the Nuggets would have won those games. But we have won every other game because of the contributions of all of the players that Cam Johnson allowed to be on the Denver Nuggets with the salary that he has. And that is the whole point of Cam Johnson being a Denver Nugget. He will come back to his averages, and once he starts averaging more points, more rebounds, more assists, the Denver Nuggets are going to be a force. They are going to have a lot of opponents stunned when Cam Johnson can come back to the averages that he normally does. David Adelman knows that he is a shooter, knows that he has a lot of potential to be who we need him to be, and giving him time is all that the Denver Nuggets can do right now. Today, the Nuggets will take on the Sacramento Kings tonight. Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon are both game time decisions, but David Adelman said that they are most likely to play. So we will have a full force Denver Nuggets team to play versus the Kings. I'm looking forward to this game. It is a late game. It starts tonight at 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, so a late start. Let me know what your predictions for the game is. My prediction, a Nuggets W. Cam Johnson breakout game. That is my prediction. Cam Johnson breakout game tonight. Let me know what your predictions are in the comments below, and I will see you tomorrow after the Kings game, checking in on the Cam Johnson breakout game, because I am stoked to see the most disappointing player in the league come back to what he can do and what we know he can do. Until next time, go Nuggets.